October 2003 should have been the start of forever for Gabe and Tina Watson. The newlyweds from Alabama had dreamed up a perfect honeymoon in Australia, a romantic getaway capped off with an unforgettable scuba dive at the Great Barrier Reef. But just 11 days after saying "I do," their dream honeymoon became a nightmare, and a young bride was dead. The dive of no return. On October 22nd, the couple set out for an ambitious dive at the famed Yongala shipwreck, a site of swirling marine life, vibrant coral, and the haunting allure of a ship lost to the sea a century ago. Gabe Watson, a certified rescue diver, had convinced Tina, a novice, to join him for this plunge. She was nervous, but Gabe assured her he'd be by her side, watching out for her. But as they descended into the depths, something went terribly wrong. Within minutes, Tina began to struggle. Gabe later claimed he saw her flailing, her eyes wide with panic as she sank deeper and deeper. He said he tried to grab her, but lost his grip in the current, leaving her to fall helplessly toward the ocean floor. By the time rescue divers reached her, she was gone. The first hint of suspicion. At first, Tina's death was ruled an accident. But as the details emerged, questions started swirling like dark water. If Gabe was a trained rescue diver, why hadn't he inflated Tina's buoyancy vest? Why hadn't he brought her to the surface himself? And why did witnesses see him casually floating near her, making no attempt to save his wife? The dive crew and fellow tourists found Gabe's behavior unsettling. He surfaced alone, barely raising an alarm, and his reactions to the unfolding tragedy were disturbingly calm. Those who'd watched the couple descend together noticed that Gabe had held Tina in a way that one diver described as a bear hug, a strange choice for a diver trying to assist someone. Love, lies, and a life insurance policy. As Australian authorities dug deeper, they uncovered chilling details about the Watsons' brief marriage. Tina's family and friends shared stories of Gabe's possessive tendencies, recalling how he had urged her to change her life insurance policy to make him the sole beneficiary just days before the wedding. Tina had expressed unease about the sudden push for the policy change, but had ultimately complied. To those close to Tina, Gabe's seemingly loving gestures now appeared calculated. It didn't take long for investigators to wonder if Tina's death had been premeditated. The trial down under. Years passed, but the suspicions never faded. In 2007, Australian authorities formally charged Gabe Watson with murder. The case captured international attention as friends, family, and experts testified to the tensions in the Watsons' marriage and the unusual circumstances of that dive. Gabe eventually returned to Australia to face trial, but under the weight of inconclusive evidence, prosecutors struggled to prove murder beyond a reasonable doubt. In a shocking twist, Gabe pleaded guilty to the lesser charge of manslaughter. He admitted only to failing to assist his wife during the dive, a confession that landed him a mere 18-month sentence. Australian courts accepted his plea, but Tina's family was devastated. Homecoming to a second trial. Upon his release, Gabe returned to Alabama, but the case was far from over. The U.S. authorities attempted to bring him to trial for murder again, hoping to deliver the justice Tina's family so desperately sought. Yet, in a controversial decision, the case was dismissed, with the court ruling there was not enough new evidence to support a conviction. Gabe Watson, once the center of an international murder case, walked free. A legacy of questions and heartbreak. To this day, the story of Gabe and Tina Watson leaves behind a haunting legacy. Was Tina's death a tragic accident, as Gabe has always maintained? Or was it the work of a man who turned his honeymoon into a deadly plan for greed? For Tina's family, the answer is clear. They continue to fight for her memory, convinced that Gabe orchestrated his bride's death in a place where she was most vulnerable, far from anyone who could save her. The eerie waters of the Yongala hold no answers, leaving this case to echo through the years, a tale of love, betrayal, and a question that remains unanswered beneath the waves.